The doctor's eyes shouldn't have looked like that. Not when he was holding my child. 1 second, the room was filled with sterile light and shallow breathing. The next, everything slowed. The monitors, the beeping, even my wife's voice, raw and shaking from exhaustion. He caught the baby, looked down, then looked at me, and froze. His lips moved, but no sound came. Just a whisper of horror traced across his face. Run. Just run. For a heartbeat, I thought I imagined it. The world tilted. The air turned heavy and wrong. Then he wrapped the child too quickly, too tight, as if trying to hide something. My wife screamed, "Let me see my baby!" But he ignored her, his eyes never leaving mine. He placed a trembling hand on my shoulder. "Sir," he said, his voice cracking, "leave this hospital. Don't ask questions." I don't remember walking out. Just the echo of my footsteps, the smell of disinfectant, the sound of my wife's voice fading behind me, a sound that suddenly didn't feel like love. Something inside me had already started to die. I sat in my car for an hour before I turned the key. The night pressed against the windshield. My reflection looked unfamiliar, hollow eyes, still wearing the smile I'd forced when labor began. It wasn't just the doctor's reaction, it was her silence after I left. No calls, no messages, just nothing. When I finally returned the next day, she was radiant, overly so, like someone performing joy. She held the baby in her arms and said, "She looks just like you." But the words felt rehearsed, sharp around the edges. And when I looked at the baby, really looked, I knew. There was no resemblance. Not in the shape of her face, not in the quiet, cold way the nurse avoided meeting my eyes. Something had been done, hidden. That night, when she fell asleep, I stared at the hospital paperwork. There was a section for paternal confirmation, unchecked, blank, as if skipped on purpose. My pulse steadied. I didn't rage. I planned. The next weeks blurred into a silent investigation. DNA test kits arrived in discreet envelopes, the kind you can order online without speaking to a single soul. I told her I was tired from work. She believed me, or pretended to. When she wasn't looking, I took the samples, a swab from the baby's bottle, a strand of my hair. I mailed it all to a lab 3 towns away, no trace left behind. While I waited, I replayed the doctor's face over and over in my mind. The way he'd looked at the baby, the fear, the warning. Some nights I imagined him calling me, confessing everything. Other nights I imagined confronting her, pressing for answers I already knew I'd regret hearing. But I did none of that. I smiled. I changed diapers. I played my part. And beneath it all, I kept listening to her tone, her hesitations, her moments of guilt disguised as affection. She would touch my arm too deliberately, laugh too quickly. Lies have rhythms, and hers had become predictable. When the results finally came, the envelope was light, too light for the weight it carried. I opened it in my office. 3 lines of text changed everything. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just sat there while the air drained from the room. Later that night, I printed a copy and placed it on the kitchen table. When she walked in, she smiled. "What's this?" I didn't answer. She read the first line, then the second. Her smile cracked like glass. "I can explain." "I know," I said quietly. Her mouth opened, but the sound that came out wasn't language. It was panic. The kind that comes when a performance ends and there's no audience left to applaud. I poured myself a drink and watched her crumble. No shouting, no pleading, just the sound of truth echoing in a room too small for lies. By morning, she was gone. But I'd already made sure she couldn't leave clean. Every message she sent to him, every transfer, every receipt. I'd gathered it all, documented it, forwarded it to the hospital board and his wife, the doctor's wife. 2 careers, 2 reputations, both built on deceit, both collapsing quietly before breakfast. When she called, begging, crying, saying I'd ruined her life, I listened. Then I hung up. I didn't need revenge to be loud. I needed it to be permanent. Weeks later, I went back to that hospital. The same corridor, the same scent of antiseptic. I passed the room where it began, where the doctor had told me to run. Now I understood why. He wasn't warning me of danger. He was warning me of truth. And truth, I've learned, kills slower than any weapon. I didn't look through the glass. I didn't think of her. I simply walked out, hands steady, mind clear. Some endings don't need closure. They need distance. And as the automatic doors opened, letting the cold light spill over me, I realized I'd already left that room the moment I saw his face. Everything after that was just confirmation.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.